This right here, my friends, called the Rhino establishment losing its power. Yes, that is right. That right there would be Congressman Mike Rogers planning an attempt to, let's just say, go at with Congressman Matt Gaetz. Now, guys, the reason why I'm making this video here, which by the way was not planned at least until Monday, is because it looks like they have finally gotten together and they have finally discovered their speaker, who I felt was going to be either Kevin McCarthy or possibly Steve Scalise, but apparently they're settling on McCarthy. And the 14 of the original 20 holdouts have, of course, begun to acquiesce. Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz, of course, they voted present. I wanted to say that Andy Biggs also voted present. By the way, Andy Biggs is who I wanted as speaker, but of course, you can wish in one hand and crap in the other and see which one fills first. Now, guys, this right here is kind of a follow-up to the video that's going to be made today, but I've decided to go ahead and release this video first before that video there. Now, of course, you guys are seeing the thumbnail here. It's what it's going to look like. And the reason why I'm releasing it afterwards is because I think it has a much more broader sense of what's actually been going on, or what's been attempted. It's one of the reasons why I'm calling it Force the Vote Republican style, because for the most part, it pretty much is. And there's a bit of more explanation on that right there and where it actually came from in that video there. But I wanted to go ahead and make this video right here and go ahead and release it to say, hey, look, a Speaker of the House has obviously been chosen, and of course I'm giving you guys this thread from Jenna Ellis. Of course, she is explaining. If you guys feel the need to pause the video and actually read it, I advise you guys do so. What she basically explains that what the Freedom Caucus did was effectively neuter Kevin McCarthy, meaning that he is going to be held to account by the Freedom Caucus instead of the actual Rhino establishment, which, by the way, the Rhino and Democrat establishment are in fact both the exact same thing, meaning that they will never hold Kevin McCarthy accountable, yet now Kevin McCarthy can be held accountable from his own side. That right there to me is the reason why Mike Rogers, of course, essentially decided he wanted to go after Matt Gaetz. He thought this entire thing was a grandstand. Of course, Republican establishment is losing its power. Now, guys, let me go ahead and say this. I am a conservative. I, for the most part, am a America First conservative. I used to be a neocon type. There are still some neocon leanings, especially when it comes to foreign policy with me. But for the most part, when it comes to domestic policy, I am for the most part a social conservative, and I'm a little bit more economically moderate. I do believe mostly in tax cuts, but I do believe there's a time and place for everything, especially when it comes for certain types of policies. I can be a little bit negotiable on that there, whereas I'm a lot more based on social issues where it comes to foreign policy. Let's just say that I believe more in course correction, meaning that you don't have to send troops to an AO to actually get something done. You can just bomb the hell out of somebody if they attack you, and of course that normally changes people's minds and it brings them to the negotiating table. It's one of the reasons why I like Trump so much is because he was so freaking unpredictable. Now, guys, the thing is this right here. We have a Congress that right now at this moment in time is sending all kinds of money to Ukraine. All right, Putin called for a 36-hour ceasefire over Christmas. And, of course, the Ukrainians said absolutely no to that, which, by the way, tells me that they do not want peace, especially considering the fact that Putin has, of course, annexed 4 separate regions in that country at some point in time, especially during the winter, which is about to get a lot worse. You probably would think that cooler heads would prevail, but once again, here we are, and Kevin McCarthy was a very large part of this. The stuff that the Freedom Caucus wanted, basically being able to call in a vote for House Speaker at any point in time, they did this right here as stopgap measures to keep the Republican side of the Republican establishment from going too far. We can talk about the Democrats and the Dem establishment all the hell you want. They're pretty bad too, but whatever they do should not surprise anybody at this point in time. But the Republican establishment has been sticking its own voters by not actually acquiescing to their voters and instead acquiescing to the Uniparty. I really and truly believe that right there is what the hell is controlling this country at this moment in time is the Uniparty. And, of course, in the Force to Vote video that I talked about, or the Force to Vote video part 2, I bring up the idea that progressives had an opportunity to get what the hell they wanted. They basically got absolutely nothing. Whereas conservatives, the Freedom Caucus, pretty much got whatever the hell they wanted. Now, guys, there is a YouTube political commentator called Real American Politics who did a video shortly after the midterms. And I will leave that video in the description box of this video here, where he talked about the fact that, for the most part, the Freedom Caucus would be running the show, because the Freedom Caucus, of course, is about 44 members, and the Freedom Caucus would basically be controlling what the rhino cons do by simply objecting, and this right here is another form of them doing so. So yes, take this however the hell you want to. This right here was actually very, very much a victory, and like I said before, this video right here will be coming out first before that video, which by the way will be coming out later on tonight. This is a victory. Even though Kevin McCarthy will still be Speaker, it's a victory because now we can actually hold him account. That's the reason why this entire ordeal was done. It makes me wonder if Trump may have endorsed Kevin McCarthy for this very reason, because of course he came out, of course, during this entire process and saying it was good for the party. In my opinion, it is good for the party, and it is good for conservatives. It is good that you had this debate. It is good that you, quite frankly, were able to get all this stuff out. It is good that things are put in place to kind of hold one another in check. Of course, Roger Stone believes that Trump will live to regret this. I personally don't. I think that he got exactly what the hell he wanted. You endorse him, then all of a sudden your most ardent supporters, Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they go out there, they protest, they cause a problem, and they get their demands met. Whereas progressives in 2020 during Force the Vote, they did not get any of their demands met at all. So yes, while Kevin McCarthy may still be the Speaker of the House, he is a Speaker of the House that, quite frankly, is tepid at best. Which, by the way, is exactly where I'm going to end the video at. Now, guys, let's talk about McCarthy and McCarthy's future. And I bring this up in the other video that's set to be released today. I stated that Kevin McCarthy will more than likely resign in 2024. After a night of thinking about it, I think, okay, it's possible that he may do that depending on who the president is, whether it be Trump, DeSantis, or Biden, or even Harris. Because let's be honest, Democrats don't have anybody to run. I personally believe that DeSantis will run against Trump. I don't think DeSantis will beat Trump because the primary, for the most part, is won in the Midwest. And when you voted for TPP and you see that people, or certain types of people, are donating to that campaign, Midwestern voters are going to be a little bit concerned about that, not to mention the fact that the establishment's been trying to lock Trump up ever since he left office. So Trump's already got that little bit of a factor. I would advise you guys go look at Sticks, Hexenhammer's videos to kind of better understand that. But the thing is this right here. Kevin McCarthy, for the most part, is a neutered House Speaker. He can't really do anything. He doesn't really have any power, and he's beholden to the Freedom Caucus now, which means that the Freedom Caucus, for the most part, is going to be running the country. This right here is actually what you wanted. As far as votes going forward, let me just put it this way here. I do agree with Steve Bannon on one thing, and I like Bannon. I don't agree with him on everything. I'm not a populist like he is. But one of the things that he kept on saying a long time ago was that the Bernie bros and the right-wing populist types, they weren't that different because, well, they did agree there was a lot of corruption. They were both wanting to get rid of the corruption. Is this a step towards populism? I do not know. Now, me personally, what I would like is I'd like the corruption to be gone, and I'd like the country to develop a much more modern economy and a much more conservative social base and a much more conservative foreign policy aspect, and obviously a much more conservative military. But let's make everything else, for the most part, pretty well moderate. People can do whatever the hell they want to as long as you don't overstep. That's one of the reasons why I always say that, look, I don't have a problem with this community here, but I do have a problem with you going after kids. For the most part, we never had this issue until now. Now, that right there being said, let's see what the hell happens. I personally think that Kevin McCarthy is done because he's a neutered speaker. He doesn't have any power, nor is he going to get any type of respect. And, of course, Mike Rogers, him doing what he did, just kind of proves my point on this. Guys, John Claymore here. Happy Saturday. If you guys like the content, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video. If you're subscribed to Gear Issue 33, or if you've not subscribed to Gear Issue 33, I will leave a link in the description box. My Fury video will probably be out tomorrow, or it will be out on Monday. Either one, I'm going to start recording this afternoon. Guys, once again, like button, subscribe, share, leave a comment in the comment section. And by the way, make sure you guys are hitting that like button because YouTube, for whatever reason, is kind of taking away my likes. It's kind of weird. So make sure you guys do that. I'll see you guys later.